Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Tuesday night, and we're here bringing you the Tuesday night delight of the NFL matchup madness. Joining me as always, right above, is going to be my co-host Cedric Green. Ced, how's it going tonight, man?
Man, it's going great. Cool. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's going as good as can be when you're a Broncos fan.
Well, it's going pretty good for me right now. We don't know how long it's going to last, but I know at least 2 more weeks because we're on bye this week. So yeah. Um, but yeah, man, another exciting week to talk about all these different matchups. Of course, as always, we'll have on a lot of our contributors that'll be contributing to the show.
Yep.
As always, we'll have some, for whatever reason, they may not be able to make it. But that's why me and Seth are here because we can cover it all.
Yes,
The
sir.
maestros of the matchup. So, guys, we'll go ahead and hop into our first matchup. Looks like this will be the first one that me and Seth are hopping in and covering ourselves today. And that is going to be the New Orleans Saints versus the Arizona Cardinals. So say we'll keep it kind of brief, but we'll still, give some insight on it because of course that's what everybody wants, or at least that's what we believe. So I said, what are your thoughts on this game, man?
I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. It's kind of funny. I feel like they're almost on, different sides of the same coin with, Arizona getting, DeAndre Hopkins back, like we were talking about earlier, and New Orleans, they don't have anyone to throw to. So it's really going to be, I think Chris Olave is coming back this week. But, their receiving core is looking thin. I mean, the Saints always find a way to pull it out, but I don't think they will this week. I feel like Arizona will do just enough to pull this one out.
Arizona's kind of at the bottom of their division right now. I think what they do has started to get figured out by other teams. Cliff Kingsbury hasn't really made a lot of adjustments. His staff kind of follows his lead for the most part, from what I see. So I think that they do have the boost of getting DeAndre Hopkins back. And the thing about a talent like DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, it may take a week or two for him to really get his legs under him, but I'm sure he's been able to practice and do some other things because it wasn't an injury that kept him out; it was a suspension. So
Yep.
everything short of actually playing in the games, I think he's been able to do, as far as working out, running, different things. So he should be maybe not 100% at game speed and game shape, but as close as you can be, when you've been out for a suspension. I think he'll make a big difference in Kyler Murray. He'll make him look a lot better, especially with that addition of Robbie Anderson, who should be playing for the Cardinals this week as well. So you're giving,
Oh, yeah.
the weapons, and then Zach Ertz, of course, former Eagles tight end, really great Eagles player. Unfortunately, sometimes it comes down to the money, and you have to let a guy go. Then when you look at the Saints, man, it's like, is Jameis starting? Is Andy Dalton even going to be able to play because he's questionable? Is Michael Thomas going to ever play? This week he's going to play. What's going on with Alvin Kamara? He's kind of been in and out of the lineup. I saw earlier because I have him in a couple of leagues. The Ingram was at least listed as questionable right now. So just a lot of questions there. Now, I will say Taysom Hill has had some major epic games for them because he has that ability to be kind of
Yeah.
like a wildcat quarterback, I'd say. So, he's played some major dividends for them in certain roles. And the Saints have a good defense, right? It's just the offense is so many struggles with injury that's really hurt their
Mhm.
offense. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to agree with you. Say I think Arizona's going to pull this out. More upside with that return of a big playmaker in DeAndre Hopkins, who I do have in fantasy in a few leagues, and I'm quite excited to see what he's going to be able to do this week.
Yeah, I hope to see big things with him and Kyler Murray. I feel like they have a pretty decent connection, and they need it. I mean, especially with Hollywood Brown going down too. So it's going to be a fun game. Like you said, Taysom Hill, he can break off 100 yards at any given time. So he's going to need every yard he can get this weekend.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into our next mess-ups. But before we do, I want to quickly shout out um, one of the sponsors of our show, and that's going to be Fanatics. So, guys, if you're looking for apparel or anything, you hop on Fanatics. Actually, before you hop on Fanatics, this is the simplest way. If you just go type in playcallsportstalk.com/fanatics, that'll take you directly to Fanatics. It'll identify that you're coming through us. Doesn't change what you're paying, for your items or anything like that. It just gives us a little kickback on that to help us keep everything running smoothly over here at the Matchup Madness. So if you have the opportunity to do that, we definitely appreciate it. But yeah, just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there as well. We're going to go ahead and transition here in a moment into our next game where we actually do have our guys for us. So we'll be able to get you a good little matchup with two gentlemen that'll be able to talk some football here with you.
There we go.
All right, and it's coming, guys. It's coming. All right, here we are. So we're going to hop into our matchup. This is going to be the Browns versus the Ravens, guys. So we're welcoming to the show, making his debut, Josh McClintock, who's going to be covering the Browns for us. And we all know and love this gentleman on the other side, Mr. Joseph J.J. Jenkins, our Ravens contributor. How's it going today, guys?
Going great. How about yourself?
No complaints. No complaints. Nobody wants to hear him anyway, right?
Exactly.
All right.
NBA season off, football's around, everything's great.
Hey.
Just a side eye, you guys see me paying attention straight forward is because I got the Celtics and the Sixers on right now.
You got to focus, sir. You got to focus. You got to focus for this 7 to 10 minutes now. This is a serious matchup, sir.
Oh, we all in, man. I'm always talking Ravens. Ravens is my number one sports team above all.
I definitely would believe that. So, Josh, since you are going to be our preview here tonight, we're going to definitely start with you, man. Let you get some of your thoughts out. So, talk to us about the Browns and what do you think they'll be able to do this week against the Ravens? What things will you feel like the Browns will be able to be successful in doing against the Ravens?
I think one of the biggest things they need to do is rely on the run. I think, they've gotten away from that in the past few weeks, especially last week. I think that if they can continue to hand the ball to Chubb and get it to Kareem Hunt when Chubb's not in there, I think they'll be able to run the ball pretty effectively. However, that's one of the things that they've done is when they get behind very fast, as they did last week, they get away from that and thus have to rely heavily upon the passing game. I think if they can rely on the run and get the run going early, I think they'll be able to get some pretty good, scores, even if it's field goals. But seeing as how the last game they got beaten by a third-string quarterback, not a lot of faith in what they can do, but hoping that, they can pull off a surprise victory here.
Fair enough. Now, Joseph, talk to us about the Ravens. What do you think you guys need to do to fix what's been happening and try to pick up a win this week?
Show some grit. Play some freaking football. Like, what is going on here? The defense, which ever since week 2, had went from 32nd to 30 to 28 to 26. When you hold a team under 2 yards, everybody's getting together. So it's just play some freaking football. Stop second-guessing yourself. Stop doing too much. You know what you need to do. Coaches need to stop getting cute. Kenyon Drake averaged 10 yards a carry, but down in the red zone, we didn't run the ball at all. We try to get cute because we're all trying to prove that Lamar is just going to dot it up and dime it, not realizing that he has to have an effective run game. It's okay to admit that as a quarterback because you want to have a run game. It's like play some football. Get back to that smash mouth. Why do you have such a talented offensive line if you're not going to let them burn and try to push people back in the red zone? Offensive linemen love that. They love getting in their hands in the face and trying to push people back. And Lamar typically just stop doing too much. Like, stop doing so much. Like, he's at the point now where I'm realizing he has to realize sometimes bad plays may look bad, but they're actually good plays. Because if he did not throw that interception and he took a sack, you would A, force the Giants to call a timeout, or B, not call a timeout, ran some clock, and made them drive the field to get a field goal as opposed to a short field. So this, because I do think the team is good, I do think the team is talented. You don't get up on people to lose leads if you have some type of talent there. You know, just show some grit, man. Like, pound it in. Close these games out because the leash is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And as much as people want to talk about Lamar, the price is not today's price. You're right. It's not going up. It might start to be coming back down. So
Josh, talk to me about what you think you guys will be able to do defensively. Do you think you'll be able to kind of mimic what the Giants were able to do to kind of try to put Lamar in situations where he made some of the same plays that he made before?
There's a strong possibility of that. I mean, obviously, we still don't have our injury report going. You know, Myles Garrett went out last week with an arm injury. He's still battling his injuries from his car accident. You know, we're still up in the air as well whether Jadeveon Clowney is going to be back. Denzel Ward's still in concussion protocol. So, you know, if somehow Joe Woods can bring this defense together and show that, you know, we can play that type of defense, that would be great. However, we haven't been able to show a whole lot of defensive effort this whole season. You know, we've been in every game that's been close that we've lost, with the exception of the last one. If they can just somehow get it together on the defense and replicate what the Giants did to hold Lamar, that would be great. It's just I don't have a lot of faith in this team if those key guys are out for them to be able to do that. A lot of that is, you know, dependent upon whether or not they can recover from those injuries.
Makes sense. There's the same question for you. What do you think that you will be able to do defensively to try to help out, Lamar and the offense to try to get a big win here against the Browns? Divisional win, might I add.
Play third down. Play great third down defense. I'm not too tripped with the defense as much as he does because we stopped the run very well. You know, Saquon had to get carried, and most of his yards came on that. Look at the games we've had. We've done pretty well in certain situations outside the Miami game. My secondary, I'm not 100% as against them as everyone says. And with Jacoby Brissett, Marcus Peters is not bad. Marlon actually is having a very good year. You know, it's just Stevens and Slot is doing good. It's just we just have to get him in the third and long. And if I'm just asking for 3 sacks, if we can get at 3 sacks or more, I expect us to be able to win this game. Because when you're in third down, if we can't get to the quarterback, you're going to have time in that pocket to make your plays. And 9 times out of 10, he's got Njoku, who is one of Jacoby's favorite targets. He's got Amari Cooper, who is a route running technician. And so anytime you have a route runner, he's going to find the sweet spot or be able to confuse the defense based off of just play great. I'm not really too worried about second down because we typically do well on that down. It's the third defense. We know they're going to bring Nick Chubb, but the line is younger. Justin Madubuike and Travis Jones, our rookie, came in there. And with those two and Patrick Queen, who actually may not be good in other areas, is good in run defense, just win the third down. If we can win third down, and you heard it here on the NFL Matchup Madness, 3 sacks. If we get at least 3 sacks, I think we can win this game.
Fair enough. Well, guys, I appreciate you both for hopping on this week and talking the matchup. Good luck to you both, and we'll hope to see you both on next week.
All right. Thanks so much.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Man, thanks for having me. All right.
All right, and we're back to another scintillating head-to-head between me here and said. But after that, we're going to get another double talk for you guys. So far, we're just kind of rotating. It's all good, though. We're making it happen. So the game that we'll be discussing now will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the lowly Carolina Panthers. I'll simply say this. Tampa Bay's beat up. They're not performing as good as they should. They have a lot of issues with the offensive line. Brady's having problems with the defense. They're arguing, different things are happening. But I'm going to say one thing that's very true. There are very few teams in this league that can make you look great when you're not. Carolina Panthers are one of them. So, in my opinion, it's going to be Tampa Bay's game to lose, no matter how bad things are going. The Panthers have fired the coach. This was what the fans wanted. I hope the fans understand that in firing that coach, you're basically saying we're giving up and we're starting over. So assets that you have, like a Christian McCaffrey, like a DJ Moore, like some of your better defensive players, it makes more sense than to go out and pay these guys in a couple of years when you're probably still not going to be a very good team, to try to grab draft assets for them so that you can try to rebuild this team. You need help on your offensive line. You may or may not have a guy in your building that could be your quarterback of the future. You may or may not be able to get one in this draft, but you're going to have to address that position in order to be better. You're going to have to address several other positions as well. So taking guys and getting rid of some of these guys and getting draft capital back is definitely going to be a better option, or at least getting some mix of young players and draft assets. So that's my thoughts on it. I definitely think that Tampa should win this game pretty easily. The Panthers are headed for a very, very bad season.
Any given Sunday, though, right? No.
In most cases.
Right. No, yeah, I mean, yeah, you pretty much hit it all on the head. And, I mean, it's Tampa Bay, too. You know, they're leading the division. It's a divisional game. I feel like they'll have a little bit more emotion put into it to go out and win this one, especially coming off that loss, last weekend. And I can see that. And like you said, the way that Carolina is going, I mean, there's rumors, going all around about just Christian McCaffrey being up for trade, or it's not even rumors, they said that he's in the trade block. So yeah, I mean, they're pretty much cleaning house right now. 2 top 5 quarterbacks, and so that makes me feel a little better to be a Broncos fan. At least we don't have 2, potentially Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and we're looking this bad. But yeah, it should be I wouldn't say maybe an easy game, but it should be a good game for Tampa Bay to get back on track.
Yeah, definitely a game for them to kind of get things together, get pointed in the right direction, fill up those stat lines for everybody. If you got Tampa Bay players, a little fantasy thing, if you got Tampa Bay players, this is the week to play them. There's certain weeks where you say, this is the week to play them. That team is in disarray in Charlotte. So, yeah, that would definitely be the week. Any other thoughts on this game, Cedric?
I mean, it's funny because I feel like in past years, I personally look at the NFL and you could see, I can see the teams that are tanking. And, I mean, even Carolina has a win, though, so, I mean, any given Sunday, we'll see. Zappy has a win. So,
yeah. Sean, just to address Sean, I think if you are a Buccaneers receiver, you're going to get off this week.
Oh, yeah.
I think this where Tom puts up 300 plus, 3 or 4 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a field day. And not because the Panthers defense is horrible, but because the offense is not going to give you a lot, which is going to then translate to the defense being on the field more, getting more down. And we know what happens when that happens.
Oh, that Bucs defense about to eat, though.
Yes, they are. They are about to have a field day as well. Mm-hmm. You have the Bucs defense. Sage point. But yeah, we'll go ahead and transition from this matchup. And next, we're going to bring on our Jags rep and our Giants rep to talk this big matchup that a lot of people didn't think would be as important as it's actually turning out to be. Kyle and Wise, what's going on, guys?
What up? Glad to be aboard, gentlemen. And hey, listen, enough with the Bailey Zappa smack. Dang it, Hilltop. Okay.
Love it. So, of course, as we've been doing, this is Cedric's matchup. So you'll see me sit here and be quiet and allow this guy to, pull that information out of these guys this week.
Yeah. Man, I tell you, I didn't see the Giants being where they are right now. They're looking pretty decent for sure. You guys got a pretty good division over there, I guess you could say. No, but yeah, I guess, man, we'll just start off with the Giants. You guys kind of riding high right now. So I mean, what do you think the Jags have to do to get on track and win this game?
Me or the Jags person?
For you, 𝐿 Wise.
Oh, what do they have to do to get to? They just got to turnovers. They got to cause turnovers. Right now, listen, we're playing great. The defense is phenomenal. We're number 2 in rushing. The key is Dallas showed what the key was to beating us, and that was harassing Daniel Jones, putting pressure on Daniel Jones. But the way he's been playing the last couple of weeks, and the way that offensive line has been playing, who knows where we can go? Like these next few games, they're winnable. These we can win the next few games and be 8-1, 9-1.
Okay. Well, Kyle, we'll go over to you then. I mean, I guess the Giants are steamrolling. Well, what are the Jags going to do to pull off a win?
Well, it's very simple here. So you mentioned FA mentioned turnovers. How about avoiding them as being a strategy for maintaining the game? Listen, I know we're not coming into any sort of great football sagehood here, but at the end of the day, the steps are very simple for the Jags. Stop the mistakes and stop Saquon Barkley. Assure that the Giants have to do something else other than Saquon Barkley. And here's the bad news for the Giants. The one things the Jags have done consistently, successfully, is stop the run. That's what this group was designed to do. Look at the makeup of the rest of the division, right? The hapless Texans, you're not expecting Davis Mills to line up, and you got to try to stop them on the ground as well to make sure that they have to sling it with Davis Mills. That takes that out. Jonathan Taylor, the other big back, when healthy, is generally neutralized by this group, even going back as far as week 17 before Trayvon Walker and everybody came in and started to talk about how bad the Jags' first round draft picks allegedly were. And then over and above all that, really when the Jags have won, everything has been neutralized up front, and the opposing offense was rendered one-dimensional. In the case of the Charge, it was rendered one-dimensional by a guy that had fractured ribs, for goodness sake, fractured cartilage. Sorry. But the punchline's this is a bad matchup as far as trying to run the football, which means Saquon in space is going to be the danger. They have to make sure that doesn't happen. Danny Dimes has to be neutralized, which, listen, I'm not saying the bar is high. I'm just saying it has to happen. And at the end of the day, that's what I see. The Jags need to make sure Trevor doesn't plays like the Trevor of last week, even though they lost the game. And less like the Trevor we saw against the Texans when they let the party get crashed when they were dedicating Tony Pacelli's number at the halftime ceremony there. At the end of the day, it's that simple. Stop Saquon on the ground. Make no mistakes.
Okay. Oh, man. So, Wise, tell us, though, man, I'm trying to think. I didn't think this matchup would be this
it's important, right?
Yeah, it's important. I'm saying though,
nobody thought any of these two teams would be doing what they're doing, man.
Do you feel this is a must-win for the Giants, though?
I know
it's not even a divisional matchup.
We have to keep up with the Eagles, man. They're 6-0.
Okay,
we have to keep up with them. But for us, we're playing Giant football, man. We're playing defense. And we're running the rock. That's always been the staple of Giants football. And so the difference is now is we have a coach, man. We have a coach that the players believe in, that actually is a hell of a coach. He knows how to use the weapons. Like we just got back one of our top 4 receivers this past week in Wan'Dale Robinson. Prior to that, we were playing with Richie James, Stills, players that probably wouldn't have been starting had we had all our guys healthy. But they're doing what they're doing because Brian Daboll is putting them in the position to succeed. He's using the talent he has around him, and that defense, like I said, that defense to me has just been. First half they struggle, but it's like the Giants is a second half team. They've outscored opponents 80-something to 84 points to like 14 points in the second half or something, like some crazy number. But what we need to do, if we're really gonna be legitimate playoff contenders, we gotta start off early. We can't wait to the second half. Sometimes luckily our defense have held us in, and we haven't given up a lot of points in the first half. But we can't continue with that formula. We have to get going in the first half, put some points up, let the defense do what they do, and I think we'll be all right.
Okay. So Kyle, who do you think is going to be an impact player? Who's gonna be the player that really sets the tone for this game for the Jaguars?
I mean, I hate to sound cliche about it, but I mean, this has got to be a team win if you're looking at it. And on the ground, I'm looking for James Robinson to handle business, sprinkled in with a little bit of Tyler Eifert, who's been coming on lately. Yeah, I know he's technically not a rookie, but this is his first year of real action since he got hurt his rookie year in camp. And listen, I mean, no offense to the 𝐻𝐻𝐒 when I say this. You do have a coach. Now, I like what Daboll is doing, but you want to talk about this year to last year? Hold my beer. You didn't have the worst NFL coaching experience in history on your sideline last year, Panda, okay? The Jags were mired in bad coaching. Yeah, I used the pun again. I'm sorry, 𝐶oolin said, but I believe it's accurate, and it still holds true here. And I don't think 𝐻𝐻𝐒's heard it yet, so I want to drop it on him too.
No, but listen, I've been singing your coach's praises everywhere I can. Cool knows this because Doug Peterson is a great coach. And to me, I'm glad they did fire Urban Meyer. He's not an NFL coach. Well, but Doug Peterson is a Super Bowl winning coach. He's changing the culture there, similar to what Daboll is doing in New York. You actually have these two teams they're trending in the right direction because the leadership is there now.
As a former Eagles coach, you're allowed to give him props now that he's not in Philly anymore. So that works for you too, partner, right?
Well, no, because the coach they got now is pretty good too, man. He's got him 6-0. So
Sirianni is my midseason coach of the year. No, I'm with you on that. Yeah. No doubt.
Hey, Wise. Looks like we got a question for you, man. Do you think the Giants can win if Danny Dimes is forced to win the game?
I don't call him Danny Dimes. I call him Danny Jones. He doesn't deserve that name.
Not yet.
Not yet. He's earning my respect little by little each week.
He's dead at Nichols right now.
He's up to Nichols now. He's up to Nichols. Yes, he's up to Danny Nichols right now. But
I love it.
I feel I think if we have to rely on him, Brian Daboll is going to put him in the position to succeed. He's using his talents the right way.
Do you think the line's going to hold up though?
They've been playing pretty well the last couple of weeks. They've cut down on sacks. He hasn't really been after that Dallas game. It was like horrible, man. He got sacked 5 times that game, and they kind of cut it down the last couple of weeks. But with him, he's talented. He's got the talent. He's got the arm. He's athletic. People underestimate how athletic he really is. Just the 2 bootlegs in against Chicago should show you that boy can run. But he just if we have to rely on him, I don't know. It's gonna be an issue, man. Because right now, yeah, he's got something going with Daniel Bellinger in there. He's building up chemistry with him. But it's good that we have Wan'Dale Robinson back. He scored a touchdown his first game. But we don't have the receivers, man. We don't have the receivers if we have to rely on Daniel Jones to win the game.
Understandable. All right. Well, with that being said, man, Wise, what are your last thoughts? I know we know who you want to win. What do you think the score is going to be?
we don't give up much points. So I'll go 27-21 Giants.
Okay. Kyle?
Well, I like your difference there, Hefe, but I don't like the fact that you think these teams will score that many points. I don't see that happening in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And that's no disrespect to your Giants. Nor, this isn't those team style of game. And listen, I will give you credit up and down on Wendell Robinson. I actually covered him in the Citrus Bowl against Iowa, and he was the winning force in that game too. Very, very talented guy. But to your point, no, your receiver core isn't enough. And for all that the Jags fans are bashing their DBs for letting what happened happen with Matt Ryan throwing 58 times to win that football game, that receiver core is a problem. And Danny Dimes, nickels, pennies, quarters, whatever. Danny coins, whatever he does, I'm less worried about that. And again, no disrespect to your Giants O-line. Of course they improved after the Cowboys. It's the best defense they faced all year. I mean, the Bears do not intimidate me anymore ever since they got rid of Khalil Mack. This group's legit, though. Let me go through some names for you. Josh Allen, Arden Key, Trayvon Walker, just to name a few. These are guys that'll get after the quarterback and attack. Their D tackle, I believe, is still battling injury, but he might be back this week. That would only further complicate issues up front. The key for the Jags, for either team, is to just win that battle up front. I know that's any football game, but in this one, I think it's exemplified when you're dealing with a quarterback like Danny Dimes who's struggling. Trevor is struggling plenty, but if the Giants let him hang around and they're allowed to be a two-dimensional offense, I see the Jags winning, but I think it's a kind of a 21-17 kind of affair. I like that 4 to 6 points gap. I'm with you there. This is going to be a close game by any stretch, Hefe. I'm definitely going to match you on that.
Cool. Sounds like we got that 21 in common from both of you. Just swinging on each side of the pendulum. Well, hey, man, as always, thank you guys for joining us. You can go ahead and drop your links in the comments. Let us know where to find you at.
A lot of fun coming in. Hefe, props to you, man. That was fun. Maybe we'll do it again sometime. I don't think it'll be the playoffs or the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. Always a pleasure doing this show, man. Thanks.
I appreciate it, guys.
Peace.
Good luck. See you next week. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and transition over to our next game. We got Big Creek Fisher over here, our Falcons guy. Going to be alone this week. I think he'll be fine. He could handle it.
We hear what you brother.
It seems like every other week I'm home by myself.
Yeah, it happens, man. It happens. Your man was ready last week to talk with you, but hey, sometimes things happen. You're not able to get on. So, Chris, you're used to this.
Man.
Talk to us about the Falcons, what they need to do to win this game against the Bengals, and what do you think the Bengals can do to get a win this week?
I feel like this year the Falcons have under-promised, over-delivered. You look at the 6 games they played this year. The 3 games they've lost by a score 6 points or less. And the games they've won, they've been fairly convincing. This past week, holding the 49ers 14 points, scoreless throughout the second half. Mariota completed 11 out of 11 passes for 122 yards. Not really eye-popping numbers in the passing game, but he doesn't need to, because what he lacks in the air, he's making up with his feet, especially with Cordero Patterson being out in IR. This week we got Casey Hayward that's been put on IR. So the other side of the secondary is going to be a little suspect. But I think if they can continue to dominate in the run game like they have been, Cincinnati is very susceptible to giving up big runs. This could be a game that the Falcons could take.
Okay. And what about the Bengals? What can they do to take it?
You're going to have to get that high-powered offense that we saw last year in gear. You got to get Chase involved. You got to get Burrow time to get Chase the ball. You got to get those tight ends in that running game that was so efficient last season that got them to the Super Bowl. We haven't seen much of that this year. We see it in the spurts, but we haven't seen it consistently. They need to they just need to be consistent. Get going early and don't let up off the gas. That's kind of been their thing this year, is that they get to a hot start and they slow down, or vice versa. They need to start the way they finish.
All gas.
Definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. So when we look at this matchup, from a perspective, of course, you're the Falcons rep, but from both teams' perspective, what is the advantage that you feel, each team has, where the other team was going to have to find a way to kind of compensate for that to be able to possibly win?
The advantage right now for Atlanta is that their offense is doing things that no one expected them to do. Like I said, their run game has been phenomenal this year, but they can still pass when they need to. Drake London has been crazy as a first-year player, and 𝐶𝐈𝐍𝐶 has stepped up as a number 2. We actually had a Kyle Pitts sighting last week in return to the Dirty Bird in the end zone. So if they can continue to utilize those weapons the way they need to, can keep relying on that run game, Cincinnati's going to have to stop that. If they can't stop the run, they're not going to be able to win this game. And on the flip side, Cincinnati's defense needs to be able to take care of minimizing mistakes. They miss assignment, blow assignment, they're going to beat themselves up. The Cincinnati still has a team that can and win big games, but they need to be efficient. They need to be mistake-free, and do the things that they relied on, like I said, last year to get them to the Super Bowl. Because otherwise, this is a game that they should win. They should be favored to win, hands down. But they can beat themselves up and let the Falcons control this game.
Okay. And Sid, do you have any questions for Chris?
Oh man, no, it's going to be a pretty exciting game. The Falcons actually looked exciting last week, so I'm anxious to see how this one plays out. What do you think the score is going to be?
I think it's going to be 23-20, and it's going to go to the Falcons.
Okay.
It'll be a late comeback attempt by Burrow in the game, but that Falcons defense is proving to be better than most expect, just like everything else on this team. I think they're going to hold it out, and they're going to come up with a huge fourth quarter stop and win the game.
Okay. It works for me. Well, Chris, appreciate you being on, man. Good luck. Make sure you hop in the comments on YouTube and let everybody know where they can find you.
For sure. Appreciate you guys.
See you next week, man. No problem.
All right, later.
Peace.
All right, so now we're getting to our next matchup. It looks like we're going to be going solo again with our Cowboys rep, Mr. Douglas Lewis Brooks. How are we doing today, sir? I don't think we can hear you. Are you muted?
Yeah, it looks like he is.
First of all,
there you go.
Crowd goes wild.
Hey.
But I'm not wild because, to be honest with you, in Cowboy land, quite sure you guys already know we're a little ticked off. Yeah, exactly. I already see you. But that's how I'm doing. I'm not going to be doing well until Sunday. That's all I got to say about that. But
and that's fair. That is fair. If I had lost, I would not be happy either. So that is fair.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do, Douglas, is I'm going to. Yes, sir. I'm gonna let Mr. Cedric take the questions here, and I'm just going to revel in my victory.
I guess the first question is, how mad are y'all?
Well, if
I'm just playing.
well, we are upset.
Yeah.
If you listen to Dan Quinn's press conference yesterday, he was upset because the expectations were for the defense to hit certain marks in the game. He was coming from the defensive perspective, and that has to do with stopping the run, which he thought we should have done better, which I thought we should have done better, but it did not happen. And a lot of other factors added into the game last week. So his words were, and I quote, "We can't wait to get back out there on Sunday." So I'm quite sure he's going to have these guys ready to go defensively this Sunday.
Speaking of this Sunday, I mean, the Lions, yeah, they're the Lions, but I mean, they're close in most games. What are the Cowboys got to do to make sure they don't fumble it?
Well, it's the Lions are the second ranked offense in the league. Let's not act like, you know, this is the old Lions. They're scoring points. They have two good running backs in Mr. Swift and Mr. Williams, and one of the Achilles heel so far the Dallas Cowboys is that we're not stopping the run. Well, it seemed like to me it's obvious what's getting ready to happen on Sunday. They're gonna test out and see have we gotten better. And then when you big seeing Mr. Hawkinson at tight end and Goff, they're second in the league for a reason offensively. They're putting up yards, they're scoring points. So this is no pushover despite their record. They just can't stop nobody. That's their problem. Defense, they're now while it's a second ranked defense, they're not great defensively at all. Actually, they can be scored upon quite easily so far. But it's just something about playing Dallas that brings out the best out of everybody. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions come down here and play a real good game. I expect us to win, of course, but I wouldn't be surprised everybody thinking we're going to run over them and all that kind of stuff. It's just like you said earlier, Cedric, any given Sunday. It's just the bottom line. And when you have the second-ranked offense in the league, you're formidable. There's no question about that. So I got respect for them. But I just think that it all starts, of course, with the running game. We're going to be different. The captain is back this week. It's no more rush hour is over with. It's done.
One loss, he out.
Well, it's not one loss. It's just that it never was a controversy. The captain is back. It's just bottom line. It's time to go. And now we're getting ready to go to work, and let's see what's getting ready to happen. I've been saying it for the whole year. You give Dak this defense to where they're playing, the way they are playing, and you get Dak back there. Look out. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. So I'm expecting us to win, but I don't think it's gonna be like everybody's saying.
So with that, you know what I'm saying, with Dak coming back, so what would you say the Lions need to focus on defensively? What do they need to stop the most on the Cowboys offense, whether it be the running game, the passing game? Which one do you think is more potent?
It always starts with the run with us, even though Kellen Moore, who the real reason why I'm upset is because of his play calling, as I knew it would be. I knew eventually the real Kellen Moore would show up, and he showed up in Philadelphia. It took him a whole half to figure it out. And once he figured it out, we started playing, quite well. But he is who he is. And just stop the run. And, you put the hand, the game in the hands of Dak Prescott. That's what you want. That's what most teams want. To put Dak, have him throwing. I mean, he hadn't seen live action and that, other than playing his defense in practice, but there's a big difference between Sunday and during the week. When live bullets are coming at you, he ain't been out on the field like that in 5 weeks now. It's a difference. And he got to get his rhythm back. And you don't get your rhythm. You don't come back immediately throwing for 400 yards and all that kind of stuff. But that's the way I would test him. He's got to beat me. Dak Prescott has to beat me. I'm not going to let Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott beat me. let him get in somewhat of an easy rhythm with little play action passes. I need Dak to be. I don't, you got to see the defense. I'm not saying Dak don't see it. I'm just saying it's been 5 weeks, and it take time to get your rhythm the way where it really needs to be. And you can watch all the film you want. You can, you can be in practice lighting it up, but Sundays and Thursday nights and Monday nights is a total different animal. And that's the part where we got to get Dak. I don't know if he's gonna be as sharp as what. I don't know if he's gonna be sharp at all. But that's really the question for me. I think he's gonna be effective, but how sharp is he gonna be? Is it gonna take him the next game against the Bears where we'll see? Okay, he really back now. This first game is gonna be kind of different. So Kellen Moore needs to make him comfortable the same way that he made Cooper Rush comfortable. That's play calling, and that's my big issue.
Okay. Cool. You got anything?
That's very some good assessments and some good thoughts, man. I mean, there were points. I've seen several Dallas games because of course they make sure y'all are on TV quite a bit, so you see at least parts of the games. I do agree that I think for you guys, if they allow Dak to have this same run game that they have allowed for Cooper Rush and allow him to just make the throws when he needs to, but not ask him to go out there and throw the ball 35, 40 times a game, I think you guys will be a much more dangerous team with Dak. I just hope that everyone continues to play as well for him as they did for Cooper Rush as the backup. I think that's the big thing, for you guys. We're in the same division. I pay a lot of attention to you because you're a team that we got to go through to get to the playoffs. Best way to get the playoffs is win your division. So I think Dallas is a team that is going to be better with Dak if everything stays status quo and you just add him into the mix. Sometimes you see guys play better for the backup because they know they have to, but I hope that just continues for him so that you are the best version of Dallas for the rest of the year.
I agree 100% with it, and that's what's going to have to happen. If not, we're going to be like a seesaw, up and down, up and down. And that's what we don't want. All I need Kellen Moore to do is stop taking these amnesia pills and just do what you did for about 4 to 5 weeks. Run the football, let your quarterback. We don't need, as you just said, Dak Prescott, just because you see him back in the lineup does not mean that your eyes light up and all of a sudden throw him 35, 37 passes a game. That's the thing. And even Dak, because last year we learned that Dak has total power at the line of scrimmage, as he should. But there was a lot of plays that he checked out of that were called running plays, and because he saw one-on-one matchups and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you just got to go ahead and grind your way down the field. You can't do it. You got to stay committed. That's the key word, committed to the running game. And that's what we were doing. We didn't start off that way Sunday night, but then we kind of got back in the rhythm that we were playing in the second half. It's just a shame that we dug such a hole on Sunday night. But once we got a little rhythm, we got it going. Hopefully we don't start off slow. And then I think we'll be all right.
Yep, definitely agree with that. Well, Mr. Brooks, I definitely appreciate you for hopping on with us. Look forward to seeing you next week. And I definitely hop in the comments on YouTube, just let everybody know where they can find you.
Got you. Appreciate y'all having me, man.
Yes, sir.
No problem.
Oh, last thing. Entering and leaving. The crowd goes wild. It just ain't no doubt. I'll holler at y'all.
Love it. All right. So says just me and you again here. We got this Colts versus Titans matchup. I'll make it pretty quick for me. The Colts, they've got some ugly wins. They've had to get a lot out of Matt Ryan's arm in order to do that. They're going to march in playing against the Titans, who are going to shove the ball down their throat with the run game. The Titans have a pretty solid defense. It could be a little bit better in the secondary. They are missing some pieces, but it's not a very poor defensive team whatsoever. I think that Derrick Henry, as in most games, King Henry is going to be the difference maker. I believe that the Titans are going to be able to eke out a victory here, but by no means do I think this is going to be a pretty game or a game that anybody that's not the Colts or a Titans fan really wants to watch.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's been most of the NFL this season so far. But it is a divisional game, and it is for first place. We are coming up on halfway on the season, so like you said, I think we're going to see the Titans, shove Henry down their throat, which they should. I mean, the Colts would do it too if Taylor were 100%. They're still probably going to try to do it. So I think it is going to be a ground and pound kind of night for both teams. I don't think we'll see Matt Ryan pulling off that effort 2 weeks in a row, or not Matt Ryan, but he could. I mean, it is Matty Ice, so it could be exciting. Just don't think it will be, like you said. I do see same thing. See the Titans coming out with the win on this, but it'll probably be fairly low score and close field game.
Yeah, field goals, touchdown would be probably either Robert Woods or King Henry. Maybe they'll get one from Pittman or someone from the or Pierce maybe from the Colts. I don't see Taylor being healthy, but he can one in too. But I think we're going to see not a lot. But like you said, division games are gritty. Two teams that kind of have some deficiencies, but they're working through them. Mm-hmm. This is kind of what you have. So yeah, man. I don't think it's really too much to say about that matchup. Obviously, we know we feel like it's going to win. You in the comments, definitely feel free to let us know what you guys think is going to happen. And we're going to go ahead and move to our next solo one here with our man, Couch Coach.
Hey.
I don't know what's going on, man.
What's going on, fellas?
Couch Coach, you and Peyton, man, they don't want to come see y'all too much. So this week y'all got the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
So who do you think's gonna? So who do you think from the? I want to say Redskins, but I got to remember to say it correctly. The Commanders is going to be able to step up to help you guys get a win against a also struggling Green Bay Packers team.
I think this game is really going to be predicated on the run game. Obviously, you look at even last week in Green Bay's loss to the Jets. You look at guys like Breece Hall doing his thing. I definitely think this running game for Washington can definitely be the advantage in this matchup. Obviously, with the three-head monster with Brian Robinson. I think Brian Robinson, showed on Thursday that he's there. He's starting now to get acclimated into this system, and obviously having the game-winning touchdown in essence, and the lone touchdown in our win last week. So you start to see now he's starting to kind of get his groove in this offense, and I think that's going to definitely open opportunities with Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick, and then now with obviously with Taylor Heinicke now starting at the quarterback position. That's potentially helping. That's going to probably be our strength for the next 4 to 6 weeks. While your boy is on the mend.
I'm not even taking that bait from you tonight, sir. I'm not taking it. I'm just going to simply say you're a better team now than you were last week and all the weeks before this as the season started.
Hey, Carson Wentz was there throwing the ball.
That's what
he was
doing.
The quarterback back there.
He was sort of throwing the ball. A lot of times he was tucking it and taking sacks. But
we got to get that man love for that block on Roquan Smith on Thursday. That was textbook. That was beautiful.
We can give him love for that one play.
Okay.
You can give him love for that one play. Give him love for that one play. I'll give him that. You're all right. I rag him a lot. I got to
Yeah.
give him some props when he makes a good play. So good job, Commander Carson, for that play. But yeah, man.
Sure.
So for the Jets, Packers. I'm already the next matchup in my mind. My bad. For the Packers, what do you think that the Commanders can do defensively to affect Aaron Rodgers? Because at the end of the day, if you can do what some of these teams have done lately to Aaron Rodgers, right, and get him flustered, cut back the running game, make him have to throw to these guys he doesn't really trust. What do you think you guys need to do to be able to execute that type of game plan against him that's been successful?
Definitely pressure. It's going to definitely come from the defensive line. Obviously, you see it, even the flashes of guys like Montez Sweat. He's coming alive ever since that Tennessee game. He's definitely got a second win. Also Ife Abada. He's another good. I think he's kind of like one of our sneaky best acquisitions in the offseason. He's starting to come into his own. And even look at our linebacker core, where you look at maybe, this could be like a Cole Holcomb-esque type of game where he can get, double digits when it comes to potential tackles. And then even with our secondary, I think we have improved. Obviously, even in that Chicago game, we did give up some plays to Mooney from here and there. And so I think definitely without having like a William Jackson III, which more likely he's not going to play, and it might be a potential that he may not even suit up for this Commanders team going forward. So you look at the play of like Ben St. Juste, who made that pretty much the game-winning play, essentially denying, pretty much a half a yard short of actually scoring a touchdown. He made that clutch stop on Thursday night. So this team definitely, if they can get Aaron Rodgers, and obviously you look at it in that Jets game, I think the Jets game really kind of showed you kind of like almost in essence the blueprint to kind of beat this team. Where hey, even though you look at even in the stat sheet when it comes to that matchup, Green Bay led in a lot of statistical categories as far as even penalty. I mean, if you look at on the schedule, not a schedule, but on the stat sheet, you would have thought Green Bay would have won, but the Jets took care of business. Old school smash mouth football. They ran the ball. They got stops when needed. So I think we can almost could we have a potential carbon copy of that matchup? Because even in that matchup, Zach Wilson, I think he only had like less than 100 yards passing. I think he was like right at 100 something, I think, or less. But I definitely think we have a legitimate shot. This is one of the weeks where even though you look at a Green Bay, even at 3-3, they're still a dangerous team, but this is a wounded dog. This is a cat. I know the cat has 9 lives, but they're looking at about 7.5, maybe 8th life. It's not looking good in Green Bay.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now for Green Bay, what can they do to win this game? And also a question kind of from the chat. Do you agree that well, I'll put it up here and you can tell me. Do you agree that Heinicke is a better quarterback for McLaurin? And I would say not even just McLaurin. I would say your entire receiving core than Carson Commander.
Well, it's Carson hate.
Oh, no Carson hate, man.
I think it's to answer before I do answer the first question about Green Bay. I think what they can do is essentially if given time, Aaron Rodgers can beat you. He's still the 2-time league MVP. So that's one thing too, where if you give him time, I don't care who he's throwing to, anybody, Ricky, Johnny, whoever, Bobby or Mike, he's going to get those guys involved. And I think if he gets that, and you can even look at even in our games where guys, even our opposing wide receiver core, they eat off of us because that pass can be times. So I definitely give Aaron Rodgers time to throw and give him that opportunity. He'll definitely beat you. But as far as Taylor, I think he will be a better quarterback. I think, but if I'm looking at it from the standpoint of he doesn't have like that the Carson Wentz arm where you won't see like those big, like obviously those few plays that we've had before, like that 49-yard bomb that he had to him in opening week, and then also either other plays like De'Ami Brown 75 yards. You're not really gonna get that from Taylor Heineke, but I think this offense is more conducive to those short passes, those screen passes. So I think he will, and with his ability to scramble, that's going to definitely help that running game out as well. So he will help, but I think you may not see it in essence in the scores in a like as far as on a box score. But I think he will help him. You'll see Terry get a lot of catches. Like he'll be good for like maybe those intermediate throws, those catches. He'll get some yak, but don't expect him to be like, having 200-yard receiving games. No, but I think he can get, maybe I would say about 10 to 15 receptions, maybe, off of that, and maybe like a $120, $130 a game. So I definitely think he will help him, but it'll be in ways that he can help move the chains. And I think that's what ultimately what this Washington Commanders team need to do. They need to move the chains to be more effective on, and keep the offense on the field and don't tire out your defense.
Okay. Now, I know we got you on here kind of doing the thing for both teams. So, any last thoughts on either team and the matchup as a whole?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good matchup. This is one of those where it's a crazy and a scary kind of proposition playing a team like a Green Bay, like I talked about earlier, where even at 3-3, Green Bay's always have had their way of a knack of just turning it on, like it's an off and on switch regular season wise. Is this a game that could potentially where they actually turn on a switch and do it? But I think this is one of those matchups with Washington. It's like, hey, this is where you want to be, because in essence, if you want to, be back at least at the kids table in NFC East, this is a game that you gotta win. So one of those where this is a matchup where this could definitely help confidence going forward. And obviously you want to get to a point where at least you'll be playing 500 ball in the month of November, and so this is a game that I think that Washington needs to take care of business, and hopefully they'll understand that there's a sense of urgency, especially how the NFC is constructed at this point, and it's so wide open. And you can get a win like that against Green Bay, who potentially could be a team that you could be jockeying for a playoff position and potentially in a month of December. But as here no there. But for now, hey, take care of business, and it's weekend and week out, any given Sunday, and let's be the ones that victorious on Sunday.
Fair enough. Well, Couch Coach, man, as always, we appreciate having you on. Just make sure you hop into the channel YouTube, let everybody know where they can find you. Good luck to you, man. We'll see you next week.
For sure. All right,
so we're gonna go ahead and transition over, guys, to our next rep. And he's going to be covering, of course, the Broncos. And, of course, many of you may or may not know, but my co-host here is also a Broncos fan. So we have these scenarios where we're talking the Broncos. What I like to do is just allow them to have the stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove myself, and I'm going to allow them a good 5 minutes so they can discuss what happens with the Broncos and what's happening with the Broncos moving forward. And hopefully they'll throw in a little information here about how they feel this upcoming game will go.
Man. I mean, I love how he always disappears, but I also think this is 7 straight weeks where I'm supposed to have somebody else, and they didn't show up. I don't know if you had anybody last week.
Dang. Yeah. I wish the real NFL teams would do that to us once or twice. No.
Well, no. And I mean, it's scary to think about is that 3 of our games could easily have gone the other way, and we could be sitting at a very ugly 5-1 right now. The 1-point loss to Seattle and then our last 2 games in overtime. It's infuriating is what it is. But I mean, I think at this point, we as Broncos fans have kind of really beaten the drum as hard as we can to try to figure out what's different. And really, at this point, the only thing that hasn't changed is who's calling the plays. So I see that there's talent, but man, when we're running what feels like the same 3-4 formations and we're not pulling audibles, Russ is missing receivers still, it's hard. It's really, really hard being a Broncos fan right now. Now, obviously, I'm going to stay with my team because I'm not one of those types, but it's just it's rough right now because we really thought that on paper we were better, but obviously that's on paper. Better matchup, Broncos versus Jets or Broncos versus their own head coach.
Right.
Well, I mean, if the reports are true from what I've seen in that Melvin Gordon, Albert O, and one of our receivers are probably going to get shipped before the November 1st trade deadline.
Jerry Judy.
Yeah, it may very well be. If it's going to be anything, it's going to be the fans against the coach. I don't think it's going to be the players because I think the players they figure it out, but I think they're still there to obviously win. That's why they're paid to play the game. So I really don't see there being any kind of like a boycott or anything of that nature here. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, man, our coach, he hasn't even called plays since he coached for Jacksonville. He didn't call plays, for the Packers. And I feel like it's just like him he's the coach now, so he's going to stick to it and prove that his plays were good. And not saying the play calls weren't good. It's just sometimes I just feel like you got to keep it simple. We just need to get back to basics and figure out what works because we're trying to do all this extra stuff and we can't even do simple shovel passes, and nothing against, I can't think of the cornerback's name, the rookie. He's a rookie.
Oh,
so of
Mathis.
course, nothing against Mathis, but at the same time, a head coach should have saw that and said, hey, maybe we should hide this guy somewhere. Maybe we should give some coverage over the top and make sure this guy knows he has coverage over the top or something, to where, you're trying to eliminate some of the problems. It just seems like it's the same thing over and over. And it's crazy. It's like, the last matchup, Couch Coach was saying, the Commanders, Green Bay was a team they had to beat, if they wanted to even sit at the big table, the kiddie table in the NFC East. And I feel like this is that. We're playing the Jets, and I mean, the Jets are 4-2. The Jets are coming off a big win, and it's like, can we beat the Jets? Like, will it be 4 in a row? Man, it's just, I don't know. It just feels like deja vu for the past 3 to 4 years, with the Broncos.
It really has. I mean, and the fact that, there really hasn't been any significant upgrades, even though, I think we said it preseason that it was going to take time for this offense to get going. Coming into the bye week, I think we were saying 5-3, and this would be our little hiccup, because the Chargers, the Raiders, we never knew which way it was going to go. Indy was really going to be that, toss up, and, it just kind of tossed the wrong way more than anything. So even Elway is hinting that they made a mistake in picking their head coach. Yeah.
Vikings are killing it.
Yeah. No, the comment section is definitely calling it out as they see it. But I mean, honestly, if there's no better option than Mathis, I legitimately am a little bit worried about Sunday's game in Denver. We're only favored by 1.5 points. Garrett Wilson is still there. Mims, obviously, Corey Davis, they have a solid passing attack. Breece Hall is no slouch either. We all know how our run defense has been these last couple weeks. So I worry that our secondary, unless they can really start clicking, and I understand that it was Justin Simmons' first game back, so I can't really put much on him. But it really would have been nice to have seen his number more last night. So I think that's going to be a struggle point, but a positive point. God, I mean, running with Latavius Murray looked good.
Dulcich looked good.
Yeah, Dulcich looked great.
For a rookie?
Yeah, I mean, Like that first quarter, it really felt like we opened it up. It truly did. So
and then we went for 15 passing yards in the second half.
Yeah.
And wasn't it like negative passing yards and overtime? I don't know, man. I just feel like
because of the 3 sacks, it ended up being -9. And I'm like, how do you do this?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm just hoping that the boys get it right, because if we're sitting here going 2-5 over to London on the 30th, it's going to be a sad, sad day, and it could be very, very dark times once again this season. So,
hey, we'll be prime time.
Yeah, but that has been absolutely nothing. We won one primetime game, one, and that will be our 5th out of 6. Like, I don't know. I'm almost scared to play in primetime. Shoot, put us at 225 every game. Put us at 11. I don't care. But yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I think if our secondary locks it up, we don't get caught with as many penalties as we did last night. I truly think that we could come out of this a lot closer. And once again, with hopefully more than 16 points.
Russell Wilson is averaging what, 14.2 points a game or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I think the offense right now, we are averaging as an offense 15.2, which is the worst in the NFL. But we're allowing only 16.5, the best in the NFL. So it's just, our defense has never been a worry these last few years. It's always been the offense. We have to do something different this week. He can't multitask. He can't call a play and watch a clock. Yeah, we figured that one out too. But, it's first-time head coach. Significant upgrade they have in his rookie. They have his rookie season with this team. I mean, compared to Drew Lock, if you actually watch the Drew Lock saga, you know that Russ is still a little bit of an upgrade over that.
I mean, Drew Lock is averaging what, like 16.2, I think. I don't know. I just went over the list today, and Russ is pretty much dead last in points per game out of the quarterbacks we've had, even just since Peyton Manning. And yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a new team, it's a new system, it's a new coach, new ownership. But I mean, I don't know, man.
It's the winning culture. That's what
y'all got to give Russ a coach that knows how to coach.
Yeah.
Until then, you can't really blame Russ until you give him a coach that knows how to coach.
A coach that's going to play him in his system, put him behind center, man. We're playing out of shotgun on 3rd down. We're trying to run from 15 yards behind the first down line, and then we're throwing it 4 yards on a 3rd and 20. We can't get a rhythm. We can't get a rhythm on our offense, and that's what's frustrating. It just seems like we'll get literally 3 to 4 good plays an entire game, and the rest of the game is just kind of, what? Let me ask Madden. Let's go. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, if we could figure that out, and if the O-line can actually block how they're supposed to, without throwing those little yellow flags, I think we'd be a lot better off. But who knows? It should be.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your Broncos block.
At this point, it might as well just be in every block thing,
right?
In every show. And, this is 7 straight weeks that there's been nobody right over here. Yeah, down here.
It's all good.
To talk
it's
to
all
me.
good.
So,
You've had Cedric, so you're all good.
Hey,
oh yeah, definitely.
No one cares about the Jets. No, I'm just playing.
Well, Ian, make sure you hop in the comments, man. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Of course.
And look forward to seeing you next week. And who knows? Next week might be the week.
Hey, 3 and 4 going to London. Let's go.
It's the Jags. I feel like it will be. I feel like we're feeling good about that.
Definitely.
All right.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
Appreciate it.
Peace.
All right, guys. So a couple of matchups here. Me and Seth are going to hop on and give guys a little insight on. So we'll start off here with the Texans and the Raiders. The Texans are not a very good team, but they're not a horrible team. They're like the definition of just mediocre. Mills is having quietly a decent season, right? I mean, not great stats, but he's doing enough from his part to help the team win. Defensively, some challenges at times. This is definitely a team that's still kind of working on finding themselves and making themselves a team that they need to be. So it's kind of hard to say. I think the Raiders are that team that just a lot of just bad misfortune. But I think this is their week. I think this is a week where the Raiders can get a win, kind of get everything together, and try to move forward and see if they can get themselves back into either the divisional race or at least a possibility for a wild card. So I think the Raiders are going to take this game. They're superior offensively. They're, I'd say, probably pretty close to even defensively. But I think they have the weapons where this should be a week where they can get everything going, coming off the bye, kind of recharge it up and see if they can make a run. So I'm giving this one to the Raiders.
Okay. I mean, the Raiders got one win over the Broncos.
True.
The Broncos got 2 wins. One's over the Texans. Shouldn't have been. We didn't. It wasn't a good feeling after that game. I mean, the Texans, like you said, they're not. I mean, they're bad, but they're not like that bad. They have some good players over there, and they do try to play up to their opponents. I just want to see what version of the Raiders will show up, if it'll be, the Raiders that have kind of been shooting themselves in the foot, or the Raiders that, went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs. If it's the ones that went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, then it should be an easy win for them. If it's the ones, that's you look at it like, what the heck are they doing, then it'll be a closer game than we think. But, yeah, I think the Raiders are going to get their second win off of this one. I mean, it's one of those teams, where you got to beat them, man. You just got to beat them.
You just got to win. What they used to say back, they just win, baby.
Yeah, just win. I mean, it's the Texans, like we all know they're trying to get as many first-round picks as they can get. What do they have, like another first round from Cleveland? So they're at least trying to get one in the top 5. And, like you said, the Raiders, they're not – I mean, yeah, they're at the bottom of the division at 1-4, but it's still early. And the AFC West isn't the juggernaut we all thought it would be. They could still turn it around. So it'll be interesting to see what version shows up this week.
Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. Definitely agree with that. So then we'll hop on over to our second matchup, which is going to be the second one we'll cover here, which is going to be the Seahawks and the Chargers. I mean, I've been saying this all along. I'm not going to change it now because they're playing a little bit better. Seahawks have already had their Super Bowl. They've already kind of gotten where they're going to get to. And quite simply put, I think that they have a probability of winning a couple of more games just because of how things have gone with the NFL this season. A lot of unexpected wins and things of that nature. But when I look at the Chargers, they're falling in the rank. Palmer's looking really good. Herbert just literally tested. He only had one throw to Mike Williams, but that was because of the matchup, right? Surtain the second was the one that was guarding Michael Williams the whole night, so he stuck with him. So it's just one of those situations, man, where you just have to say, you know what, we're gonna do what we got to do, and that's what it is. And they've got to go out here. The Chargers have got to get another win. They want to keep up in their division. They've got to win all the games that they should win. They're in a position where the games that they should win, they need to win. They should beat Seattle. They have the defense. They can get to the quarterback. They're athletic enough to, be able to guard the receivers. You don't need a lot of time when your quarterback is who they have in Seattle. As far as the Chargers, You rush him, you put pressure on him, and you just hit him. You make everything difficult for him, and it's going to affect him. He hasn't had a lot of that going on this last couple of weeks, and that's why you've been seeing him play pretty well. Geno's outplayed what I expected him to do this year, and I'm excited about that because I love to see guys get an opportunity and show what they can do. So hopefully he'll be able to continue that moving forward for the rest of the season. But I do think that this week the Chargers are kind of back to being who they need to be, and they should be good to go.
Yeah, man. We'll see. Chargers, I thought they looked a little flat Monday night. I expected them to blow the Broncos out of the water, to be honest. And we kept it close. We shut down Eckler. That's a big thing, man. It's, crazy how fast Eckler has emerged, as a talent in this league. Dude's been killing it. But you slow him down and, you put your best guy on Mike Williams, and what do you got? Hopefully they can get Keenan Allen back, but we'll see. It's just been really weird. Not just say that because I got him on my fantasy league and I could use him. But if they get him back, then I definitely see them cooking. But I mean, at Seattle, like you said, they won their Super Bowl. It's kind of coasting for them, which probably makes it a bit easier for them too. It's really not any expectations. Like they're not even expected to compete in their division, much less make the playoffs. So they're just kind of doing their thing. And Pete Carroll, he's a decent coach, man. He's super chill, but I kind of get that feeling like Belichick and Brady, with Pete Carroll and Russ, and it was, I kind of think Brady kind of won that, divorce by winning the Super Bowl first, but it's kind of feeling like Pete Carroll is winning right now, showing that he can put anyone in his system, and have it look decent out there. So if the Chargers come out flat and their running game gets stopped, I can see Seattle pulling this one out. But yeah, I think the Chargers will right their ship and come out and do what they need to do to get this win.
So went ahead and brought on our 49ers contributor here, Mr. Stephen Box. How's it going today, sir?
Going good, man. Going good. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
We're doing well. So you are rolling up on the said questions here. So said, I'll let you take it away, sir.
Well, actually, what, man, I hate to like burst your plan here, cool, but I'm gonna say like, why don't you host? Because said is a AFC West guy. So since the Chiefs representative is not here tonight, I figure Said can fill in and be our Chiefs representative.
Oh man, that hurts. You want me to talk good for the Chiefs?
I mean, you can say bad things about them. You don't have to say anything nice.
Actually, sir, there's a different plan in place.
Okay.
Said is going to host, and I'm going to talk about the Chiefs.
Hey,
let's do it.
All right. Well, shoot. Let's go ahead and start off with you, Mr. Box. Your 49ers, man, coming off a devastating loss. How did they turn it around and right the ship, going against these guys, the Chiefs?
Get some guys off the injury list for be a good starting point. Last week, the entire starting defensive line was out for that game.
Oh, man.
And it showed because Atlanta, and I'm not saying this to take anything away from them, but they ran the ball down our throats at will last week. And that is not what happens to this defense on a regular basis. So you had a lot of guys who get rotated in, but they don't get a lot of snaps. And it showed that they don't get a lot of snaps. They were worn down, especially by the end of that game. So hopefully getting Nick Bosa at least back this week. Kind of doubtful we're going to get Armstead back. Javal Kinlaw's on IR, so he's definitely out at least 4 weeks. Also a possibility we might be getting Trent Williams back on that offensive line, which will be huge for us because the guy who was in his place last week gave up 4 quarterback pressures and could not run block for anything. So it's the injuries, man. The injuries is what's killing us.
Okay. Cool. So going over
sir.
to you, man. Do you think the Chiefs got exposed last week? Do you think the Bills put out a blueprint on how to slow them down, how to stop them, or do you think that was just what it was?
Well, here's the caveat. I think the Bills did kind of show teams what you can do to stop the Chiefs, but you have to have the personnel to do it. Because the thing is, the Chiefs have so many. I would dare to wager from what I've seen so far. I think the Chiefs may be more dangerous now because you can't focus on just taking away Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. You have some other guys; they're not great, but they're solid offensive weapons. You just think about like the guys that are there now, theoretically in place of Tyreek Hill, right? You got Juju, you got Sky Moore made a couple plays, MVS, right? McCole Hardman's still there. Then you think about Kelce, of course, running back. You got Pacheco, Edwards, Helaire. You've even got Ronald Jones, the second there, as another guy that could run the ball for them. Defensively, weapons. Not the greatest defense, but a solid line. And then safety, they're pretty good at safety. Cornerback, they're not great. They're not bad. They're just pretty much average. I overall rate their defense a little bit above average. But I think the thing is Mahomes. As long as they have Mahomes, it's hard to week in and week out take him out of the game and put him in positions where he can't do the things he does, because he does so many just kind of off the wall erratic things that it's hard to plan for. It's hard to plan for a guy that'll run like he's going to run the ball and in the last second just left-handed flick the ball as a shovel pass to this dude that happens to have this little lane in the middle. It's hard to look at, okay, he's going to run to the right, reset himself, and then throw a sidearm pass 30 yards down the field right on target under a defender's hand. It's hard to plan for those things. So I think the thing with Mahomes that you have to look at in the team as a whole is, yeah, you can have a blueprint if you have the right personnel. And if the 49ers were completely healthy, then you had a team that probably would have the personnel to try to do some of the same things. But one of the important pieces is also being able to control the time of possession. So you have to be able to control the time of possession offensively, as well as do the things that the Bills were able to do defensively. And it's going to be hard for a lot of teams to be able to do that to the Kansas City Chiefs this year.
Okay. Oh, man, I feel like it's going to be a good matchup. I feel like Kyle Shanahan versus Pat Mahomes, really what it is. You're just stuck with Garoppolo. No, but
it's funny you say that, though, Sid, because look, here's what I'm going to point out. I'm going to actually say something that is going to anger a lot of 49ers fans.
Okay.
We actually need to turn into a passing team, and we need to let Jimmy Garoppolo air it out. Because here's the thing. If you look at that game against Atlanta last week, Jimmy had 3 passes, 2 deep balls, one that would have gone for a touchdown that the receivers dropped, and a third one that Ayuk actually caught, but then offensive lineman got called for tripping because he fell down, his legs went up in the air. So 3 deep balls that did not count on the final stat sheet that Jimmy Garoppolo actually completed in that game. He was actually very efficient. Outside of the Denver game, he's actually been very efficient since coming back in as a starter. Our running game has been atrocious. People look at the fact that, Jeff Wilson had a couple 100-yard games. He did, but they were ugly games. Like, it took forever for us to get those yards. It's not like the offense that we've had the last couple of years. We've been able to run the ball. And like Cole said, you got to either go and be able to get your defense to get some stops and then score point for point with the Chiefs, or you have to be able to control the clock. And right now, my running game is not good enough to control the clock.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, pretty much I agree with what he says. I mean, you've got to be a solid, complete team. You can't have a weak unit between offense and defense in order to hang with or beat this Chiefs team. But the thing is, if the 49ers can come out and force this team to turn the ball over, if they can force him to make bad reads based on what he's seeing in coverage, on what it actually is, these are ways that you can get some turnovers from Mahomes, and we have seen it happen at times. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen at times. If the 49ers can do that, they give themselves a great opportunity to possibly win this game. But if they're not able to do that, and then they put their offense up against the Chiefs' defense and their defense up against the Chiefs' offense, you're going to have to say the Chiefs have a better chance of winning the game. But this is an any given Sunday game.
It's two division leaders, so it'll be interesting to watch. I mean, I know the 49ers got to be feeling some kind of way about it. They don't want to lose 2 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, this is an important game for us. The Rams are on bye this week. If Seattle wins and we lose, Seattle's actually leading the division. So definitely not a situation you want to put yourself in to have that be the case. So, this is going to be a big game for us. Obviously, injuries are going to be a concern. We don't know if Nick Bosa is going to be back yet. Hufanga is currently in the concussion protocols. Charvarius Ward is day-to-day right now. If we get all 3 of those guys back on the field, this becomes a much more interesting game. If we're missing some of those pieces, I'm really worried about this game.
Okay. What do you think the score is going to be, Steve?
I think this is going to be one of those ones that I think it might be a little bit more high scoring than people think, right? I think people kind of look at the way our offense has been struggling here lately, and you look at our defense, generally what you might base it on, you might think it's going to be a little bit of a low scoring game. I think personally, this is going to be a pretty high scoring one. I'm going to actually pick the 49ers 37-34.
Woo. That's a game.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much defense in this one unless my defense comes back healthy, which in that case, it might be a little bit lower scoring, but I'm working off the idea they might not be completely healthy right now.
Dang.
My prediction might change by Friday night.
How many touchdowns Jimmy G scoring on that one? Was that 3 tutties?
We might get a couple running, man, but as long as he get the ball to Ayuk and Debo and Kittle, man, those guys will handle the rest for him.
Cool. What do you think the score is going to be?
I'm going to go 34-24 Chiefs.
It's pretty high scoring, too. Kelsey with 5 touchdowns?
Nah, ball spread around. Spread it around.
We only let insignificant people that you've never heard of score touchdowns. That's what Kyle Pitts got on the board last week.
That's a shot. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what I consider a shot.
Hot takes.
Well,
cool, man.
So Stephen, question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
To let us know which way you would like to go with this. So we don't have the reps covering the next team. So if you'd like to, you want to stay on and talk about this next game with us, you can, which is going to be the Steelers and Dolphins. Or if you'd like to just watch us give you some good insight, we can roll either way. What would you like to do, sir?
I mean, I'm always down to hang out, man,
All right, cool. So we'll have you in our discussion here between the Steelers and the Dolphins. So we'll start with you, actually. So talk to us about what do you think each team can bring to the game, and who do you think will win the game and why?
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers had a surprising win last week, right? Not a game that anybody really expected it to win. And, Trubisky comes in, I think maybe kind of has that emotional high at a second chance to get to come back in there. So I don't know who's going to be playing quarterback for them this week. I don't really think it matters because Tua is going to be back for the Dolphins. And that is a completely different offense with him out there. And that Steelers defense has still been pretty questionable. They just have not looked the same since they lost TJ Watt. So I got Miami, honestly, man, just running all over them. I don't even think this is going to be close.
Sid, what are your thoughts, man?
Man, it's going to be a pretty interesting game. Yeah, it's crazy that Tua's coming back so soon. I would figure they'd just shut him down for the season. But hopefully he comes out and makes it through the game. If he does, then yeah, I'm with Steve, man. I see Miami running off with this one. We don't even know which Steelers team we'll get, and Mike Tomlinson won't let us know until 5 minutes before the game. So I do expect to see the Steelers come out and play. I mean, it's the Steelers. They still come out and play. But, yeah, it's just a bit much for them to overcome this season, man.
Yeah, for me, I think if their quarterback gets back, their young guy, and he plays, I think they have a chance to actually win the game because he was actually looking pretty good before he got hurt. So we don't know about that. But I think outside of that, you got Tua coming back. They were a great looking team with Tua. Obviously not the same without him. But you keep in mind they were undefeated, until he went down. So I think that if you bring Tua back, if he's good to go, and I believe that you made him cross every T and dot every I before you let him back on that field without everything that's happened. Yeah. I wouldn't have had him playing probably at all this season, but definitely not this soon. But I'm not a billion-dollar football team that's relying on him to win games and try to get to the playoffs and bring more revenue to the team as well. So that's a big part of it. But I think the reasonable expectation would be for Tua to come back and continue to be the player that he was before he got injured. And I expect him to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we would all agree, the thing we're all really looking at in this game is that hopefully they did, dot all those I's, cross all those T's, and he really is good to go and he's healthy if he's going to go out there. Because the last thing any of us want to see is him take a hit and be on the ground again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with that line, I mean, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely bound to happen.
Mm-hmm. But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, yeah, like you were saying, if he's back, and even when, even the week he ended up finally going out after he took the hit from the week before, he's still looking good on the field. It's just he couldn't see straight. So it is interesting, like maybe, I feel like maybe they brought him back because they do see that, that potential, especially they're heating up, man. Miami was looking good. It'll be fun to see where they go this season.
Listen, vision is apparently very overrated for quarterbacks. Jameis Winston won a national championship but couldn't see nothing.
He got that LASIK now, though. He
had no LASIK then, though. He was on the sideline talking about something.
He had that 30 for 30, but then he got that LASIK.
I got that 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had that LASIK, so it should make him a lot better.
Yeah, man.
It can't really blame that anymore.
Right.
Got folks with expensive eyes, you know what I'm saying?
It'd be like that. It'd definitely be like that. Now, same question for you again, sir. Would you like to stay on with us for this last matchup?
I mean, I might as well, man. I'm here,
Hey, I mean, don't want to take anything for granted here. So we'll go ahead and I think Malcolm's in the back waiting for us here. So we'll go ahead and get him up here. And we'll talk this final matchup of the evening, the Bears and the Patriots. So don't quite see Malcolm here yet. So we'll stay as we are for now. And then if he hops on, cool, we'll just add him in here. So guys, we'll start with you this time. Actually, I'll go. No, we'll start with you, Sid.
Man. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask, what do you think?
Yeah, man, I was going to say it's crazy to see, New England at the bottom of the division. And then it's crazy to look at it and say, damn, they're at the bottom of the division, but they're still better than half the teams in the NFL. So they're still doing it, man. The Bears, man, I feel like Justin Fields is starting to come on for sure. He's growing. We're seeing him grow up before our eyes for sure. And that's great. So I'm kind of excited to see this game. I think it's going to be a solid matchup. I think we're going to see some pretty good football, actually, and a pretty exciting game. I don't even know who to call it for, to be honest with you.
So, see, we do have Malcolm in now. Malcolm, what's going on, brother?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Can't complain, man. We can't complain. So, yeah, we've got not the representative for the Patriots, but we do have Stephen Box on here. We're just all going to, quick thoughts on the game. Of course, you're a fan of the Bears, so you can give us more of the Bears insight. So just talk to us, man. What do you think the Bears can do to come out with the win for this particular matchup?
One word. Luck. And I always say luck is for losers, and I support a losing city. I mean, I support and I live in Indianapolis. That's the funny thing. I live in a basketball state, which team might be losing its main basketball team if the crap doesn't get together. Could care less about the Pacers. I have a hockey team that, doesn't even Kyle Beach. That's all I have to say. And if you're a Blackhawks fan, you should already know.
Avalanche.
Congrats to the Avalanche, even though their logo still looks like a poop emoji with snow on it.
We got the cup.
Y'all got the cup. But hey, I kind of wanted Tampa Bay to go three-peat. What else? I got the Cubs. They're rebuilding. The only two teams right now that's not on my list as agony is the Bulls, who plays tomorrow. Thank God. And the Chicago Sky. Those only two. And then there comes my lovable losing team, the Bears. After losing Thursday night, I damn near had a moment doing that game, live streaming that game. It was a tough L to take. I haven't been made fun of all week. Thank God for that. But I will say this. Our special teams, I'm sorry, Vallis Jones Jr., I call him Val Venus. At first, he was blooming, and then he just went down. Either fair catch the dang ball or let that mug hit the end zone, hit the red zone for a touchback. Why catch it? Like, what happened to his hands?
So I think
what happened to his hands?
I feel confident in saying what we're saying here is you don't expect the Bears to get a win.
Nope.
Here.
I don't even expect him to. I'm at to the point because I have a subscriber by the name of Damien who said that this team can only win 4 games. I'm going over that. This team, I have this team winning 7 games, but I don't see it happening now. Sad thing is, cool. You got your Eagles 6-0. I'm happy you brought the Cowboys fans back to reality. And also, just to piss them off a little bit, I would keep Cooper Rush as quarterback. Dak is not it. At least Cooper's winning games.
That
sir, is a hot fire take.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, I only got us winning the 2 games. The game against the rain game against the 49ers, and what was the second game that we won? See, that's bad. I don't even remember the second win.
So you don't think you guys are going to win any more games this year?
Nope. And this schedule is easy, but here's the problem with this. The good things about this team is Matt Uberfleece, Justin Fields' development. Mooney can make catches when need be. But what happened to establishing a run game? Why didn't we run in the end zone? Why? And this is where I put Luke Getsy on the hot seat. For his first year, you can go back to Green Bay. I think Aaron Rodgers would love to have you back as a wide receiving coach.
There's a couple of coaches that left Green Bay that teams hope would go back.
It just doesn't make any. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'm not mad that we lost on Thursday night. I'm just mad on the way we lost. And Justin Fields, yes, what you said too, Green. What you said, he's growing, right before our eyes. But it's hard for me to be invested in a team who whose run blocking is top 10 for some odd reason, but your pass protecting is worse. It's the worst in the goddamn league. That is a problem to me. But this is the Bears. I know I don't want to give our GM Ryan Poles too much crap because this is his first year. But bro, the offseason, I can't wait for the offseason because you have $100 million to spend. That money better go to an O-line. That money better go to a receiving core. That money better go somewhere important. And as for Roquan Smith is concerned, buddy, you got bodied by Carson Wentz. I don't even want to hear you getting a contract extension. You are getting franchise tag. You are getting franchise tag. Basically, the only way the Bears can win is by luck. Bill Belichick has dementia, or the fact that they can take advantage of the opportunities that the Patriots will give them to. I got the Patriots defense, by the way, in fantasy, and I'm starting them this week.
I just want to say, when you use the word Carson Wentz embodied in a sentence, it should not go the way that this conversation is going, and it's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. So, Steven, did you want to hop in and give any thoughts, man, on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna actually give your team a little bit of a compliment here, Malcolm, because I said before the week 1 matchup that everyone just assumed that we were gonna run all over the Bears, and I was like, they have talent over there. They're not completely devoid of talent. Now they don't have a lot of it. It's like maybe like one guy per position. And like maybe like 4 or 5 positions, but they have the guys that they have talent are really talented. And I think when you look at this team overall, what you're seeing out of them is they don't know how to win yet. It's not the consistency factor. They don't know how to win games yet. Like they got up, obviously, for us. There was let's be honest about it. It was a lucky play that we had the blown coverage on. And that sparked a lot of confidence in that game. And once they got that confidence, they were able to roll with it. But when they don't get a lucky break like that, they don't know how to manufacture that confidence for themselves. And that's just a matter of them being young. They're going to continue to develop. I was real high on Justin Fields in the draft. That's who I actually had wanted us to draft. So I really like what he is doing, continue to grow. So I think your team, yes, you're going to struggle this year. But I do think you will win some games at the end of this year. As y'all get it more and more figured out, I think y'all will find ways to start winning games. It's not going to be this week, but I think you are going to win some games down the road. I'm looking at this New England team, man, and I'm just thinking to myself, I don't really know what's going on right now, right? I mean, we all expect Bill Belichick to put a good defense on the field, right? We expect that. But, I mean, this dude is like got – people calling, the offense, and we're sitting there going, oh, he's just clearly waiting on the Raiders to fire McDaniel so he can bring him back, right? But the last couple of weeks, they've been putting up 20, 30, almost 40 points last week with Bailey Zappi at quarterback. Who is Bailey Zappi?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude threw for like 300 yards last week.
He's Tom Brady 2.0. We don't know who he is. He's probably Tom Brady 2.0.
I mean, at this point, we were joking, earlier about Cooper Rush and Dak. I mean, there might be a legit conversation about Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. We might have a real quarterback controversy there in New England.
And the killer part is we almost drafted Mac Jones too. Oh God,
if that happens, that would be hilarious. But yeah, man. So Malcolm, I appreciate you hopping on here, and Stephen, appreciate you as well for staying on with us.
Hey, cool.
Definitely make sure you guys hop your comments in the back. What you got, Malcolm?
Can I also say this also for Stephen as well? He's right. The one thing I will say about this Bears team is the defense. But I'm going to say this. I'm sick and tired of every year of people saying, oh, the defense is good. It would be nice to have an offense to say the same thing. But it's like what my brother Darian said, growing pains. And this is going to be the biggest growing pain of them all. I got the Patriots winning 45-3.
Whoa. Hot take.
Hey, listen, Malcolm. I'm just gonna tell you like this. We have gone to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship game in the past couple years, and all I hear about is my defense and my running game.
Same here. I'm sick of the same crap. Can I get some? I want somebody to say, "Oh God, the Bears have a great passing attack." I would love to hear that.
Good luck, man. Good luck.
I will. I'm gonna need a whole lot of therapy. Many, many years of therapy. Thank God for the Bulls. Hopefully they don't fail me this year.
With that being said, did you have any last words or thoughts for the evening, sir?
Nah, man. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been fun.
Absolutely, man. Definitely enjoy having everyone on. Make sure you guys throw your info in the comments. I know we're getting to the end of the show, but for those that view the replay of the show, they'll be able to still see that information. Appreciate everyone that hopped on live and watched with us. Appreciate everyone that watches the replay. And as always, man, we're here to have fun. We're here to talk some matchups. We're doing it every week. And we'll be back next week with more. Stay tuned.
Hey, cool. Real quick, man. Can I just give a quick plug for our show right here on playcolorsportstalk.com Friday night, 7 p.m. Come holla at us.
Are we plugging shows? We plugging shows? I got a show.
We're just
we got check out Shady Sports Network the 23rd. I'll get the time up for y'all, but check us out. We coming up too.
Since we're plugging, I have a little bit of a project next Saturday. Might do an NBA tier list on where teams will be by the end of this season. So if anybody wants to hop on, let me know A, who your team is, and B,
Malcolm, put it in the chat so that way people can get the link.
All right, I will do that.
Yep. Cool. And y'all know me. I'm not even gonna go through it this week because we're already almost at 2 hours. And just my projects alone might put us over 2 hours. But let's just say there's several different places that you can find me. If you follow me, you know where they're at. If not, I might put them in the chat for you.
Follow them.
But there's a lot. But appreciate, again, everybody for hopping on and look forward to another titillating episode next week. And with that, we are out. The madness is over.
Hey.